Hi everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us for this part 2 of our Revit Family Basics. Just a quick recap from our last training. We talked about reference planes, even though I told you reference lines at first. We added some parameters in, and that's in here just as a recap. And then just remembering that the default indicates that it's an instance parameter and not a type. So today we are going to go through some of the basic forms and how those work. So we're going to go through this the solid extrusion first. So if you click on this, it's going to ask you to create a sketch of what our extrusion should look like. So we can draw, I'm going to draw a rectangle instead of a line. I don't know if you guys know or not, but you can, when you're drawing just a basic line, you can just keep clicking over and over again. Or we can go through with this rectangle or any of these other shapes and just draw one out with 2 clicks. Alright, so once we have this rectangle in place, we can hit this finish, and what that does is if we go into 3D, it gives us this solid shape. It gives us little grips so we can pull it in each direction, and you will only see that in our family editor, which is great, except for if we want the ability to make this rectangular shape parametric in our projects, we need to make sure that it is tied to these parameters. So one of the ways we do that is you can go in initially in your sketch and use the align command and then lock it in place. We can do that all the way around. And then if we go into 3D, you can see that if we change these numbers in here, you can see that it changes along with it, which is awesome. So another way to, so that's going to take care of our width and our height. So we can go into a ceiling, or into an elevation view, and we can add another reference plane in here. Same as we did the other way. We can add a dimension, and we're going to just call this one elevation. And then we can align lock this here. So now when we go in here, we can change our elevation to 4 feet. And we can see that our geometry moves along with our parameter, which is awesome. Great, right? Alright, so that is our basic extrusion. We can do a blend, and a blend is going to be pretty much the same as our extrusion, except for we provide it with 2 different sketches. So let's go through one of those. Before we do that, I'm going to name this reference plane. I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to call this I'm going to call it elevation. I'm going to go back into my floor plan, and I'm going to do blend. Alright, so let's go through and we'll do the same thing we did before. We're going to draw a rectangle, and we're going to align and lock it. I know this seems tedious, align locking it in place, but it's the best practice to make this happen. If you try to add these dimensions straight to the geometry, it starts to break. It isn't as big of a deal when you have just simple geometry like this, but when you start trying to have different pieces of geometry tied together, you start to get kind of weird results. Alright, so we got that in there, and now we're going to edit the top. I'm going to do just a circle here, just kind of show you. and then we can finish the edit mode. If we go into 3D, you can see kind of a crazy shape because we went from this rectangle to a circle. So if we go in here, we change this elevation to 9 feet, you can see that did nothing. So if we edit the top, you can actually set this work plane based on that reference level that we had before. And then if we finish that, you can see that now it is locked similarly to what we did with the align locking to the elevation. Well, I hope you learned a little bit about some of these shapes. We're going to dive more into the sweeps and the revolve in the future episode. Thanks for joining today. Alright, thanks. Bye.